All right, for a final Vaesen topic, we have adventure ideas. So Heathen Dog's going to tell us what kind of investigations and what kind of adventures belong in this game system setting, Scandinavia. I don't know. He'll tell me right now what we're talking. What are we talking about?
All right. Your particular adventure is called The Mystery, and it's because it's an investigative game. So that's what it is. And this section is for the game master, but there's no super spoilers or anything like that. It's just how to build a compelling mystery adventure. And it gives you a flow chart like guidebook. Do this, 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 and this. And we're going to talk about how to build and implement an adventure in Vaesen.
The core values of #RPGate and any good tabletop group are escapism, not representation, entertainment over activism, and natural, organic inclusion, not forced diversity. Please follow that QR code or refer to the description below for the link to the charity we support, which is the Wounded Warrior Project. Thursdays and Saturdays, you can watch the Dirty Casuals on twitch.tv/Legion of Myth. Fridays and Sundays, you can watch the Friday Night Show stream and RPG Digest on our YouTube and Rumble channels. Please leave us a comment with your thoughts and experiences, and if you like our gaming content, please be sure to subscribe to Legion of Myth.
All right, the mystery. This is the adventure. The first thing a game master has to do when creating his own adventure, his own mystery, is choose the Vaesen. What Vaesen is going to be the antagonist. This is the most important thing because each Vaesen will react differently to being disrespected or being forgotten or being neglected. They're going to react in a different way. This is the conflict. So before you have the conflict, you must have the Vaesen that caused it. So in your mind, you picture the Vaesen. And then now you know what it does when it's pissed off because you can look it up. And now you know the conflict. You know what's happening. And then you have to build other elements that are important to suspense and to bring the characters along for the ride. Remember, this is a story-based adventure. It's going to be. And
does story-based mean it has to be railroady or...
That's the thing. Yes.
Okay.
Not super railroady, but there are guideposts you must follow.
Okay.
Or you're not going to succeed. And as we all know, players are the natural enemy of a good story.
Here, hold that up. Hold it up for a second there. And then I'll do this, and there you go.
There it is.
That's the Heathen Dog shirt you can find on our Redbubble store, which is in the description below.
Yes. Now, so you have to build this correctly to make them believe they're not being led on a path, because they are. They have to be. This is a procedural mystery. You have to follow procedure. So how do you do that? Okay, first you must consider the clues the character players will need in order to solve the mystery, how they can get to the location where it takes place, what atmosphere you want this place to evoke. By defining a so-called countdown, you give rough descriptions of events in a step-by-step way that will exacerbate the situation. The countdown is a tool the game master uses to create urgency in the adventure. For example, let's say that there's an island in the Baltic Sea, a small island community, and it's being beset by children are waking up to their fingers being removed. Gross. No blood. It looks like it healed over for years, but it happened during the night. That's crazy. That's tabloid crap, but it gets the player character's attention. Now they travel there and they start investigating, but the countdown starts. The first thing in the countdown is the local preacher starts talking about doom and gloom, gets all of the people of the island in an uproar. Now they got guns everywhere. It makes the job of the player characters harder. And if they don't solve the mystery quick enough, another part of the countdown happens. Someone gets accidentally killed in the middle of the night by this roving band of amateur militia.
Sounds like my timelines.
Exactly. That's exactly where it is. It is, but in here they call it a countdown because if you don't solve the mystery in time before the countdown gets to the last event, 0, you lose. 0 being the Vaesen is permanently pissed off, or the Vaesen kills the entire town, or the Vaesen kills you, or kills a kid that he's kidnapped, whatever. You as the game master decide what the fail result is. The end of the countdown is always a failure because your player characters should be able to solve the mystery before the final countdown.
You're gonna get that song stuck in everybody's head now.
Okay, sorry. So the second part is about shaping the mystery into a text you can use during play. Let me explain. It describes the phases that make up every mystery, which are always played in the same order. The text also includes tips on how to create atmospheric scenes. The chapter ends with some suggestions on techniques you can use while game mastering. Now, I'm not going to go into the big, huge parts. You know, there's the Vaesen. Every Vaesen has a specific name, and it gives example of names. Example conflicts. Someone wronged the creature. Someone's taken something from the creature. Someone wants something from the creature, but didn't go about it in the correct way, the lore way, which pissed it off. And now it's causing problems because of that. If you can figure out the conflict, you do the investigation into the Vaesen to see what it wants or how to fix it or whatever, you can appease it, drive it away, or kill it before the final countdown. Examples of primary conflicts. A Thursday's child named Pernil Jacobson wants to use the will-o-wisps in the swamp of Lake Eriskov to kill her family and claim her father's inheritance. She has invited them to the Merry Lad Inn near the swamp. Pernil has a reputation for being psychic and claims that her sister, who died at a young age, is haunting the wetlands. She hopes to lure the family members out there one by one to be drowned by the will-o-wisp in the swamp. This conflict is between Pernil and her family, with the will-o-wisp as a duped third party. She's using this particular Vaesen to do her dirty work so she can keep her hands clean. That's the conflict. Now, the player characters come into this when the deaths start happening. Someone calls them in for help, or word gets to the society, and you are dispatched to this village or this town to investigate. Now, the first thing you're going to think, oh, it's the Vaesen. You investigate the Vaesen. But then a countdown happens. Another member of Pernil's family is killed. She's one step closer to her goal. All the money, all the inheritance just for her. If you don't solve the mystery fast enough, she's going to win.
So the Vaesen just a red herring in this case.
In this case, the Vaesen is basically the gun. And Pernil is the actual killer. Yes, it could be that. Easy. Now, secondary conflict. A secondary conflict can be used to establish a link between the place and the player characters. For example, by involving people mentioned in the player character's dark secrets. That's part of character generation. Everyone has a dark secret, blah, blah, blah. You can also use themes from the player character's backstories. If a character's motivation is to help those in need, the secondary conflict could revolve around a local landowner trying to evict a poor single mother. A secondary conflict does not have to be solved by the player characters. They can put it behind them as they return home. This is optional content, basically. If you want to put this in there as a game master, you can. You tailor these little tiny side missions that success or failure does not impact the main mystery, the main conflict, but is something so that individual players can shine a little bit. We can have a little bit more insight into your character because of how you react to this secondary mission.
Now, just so folks don't start freaking out, there are no 30-page backstories in the Free League games. It's a sentence or two. But you can put the pieces together, the Dark Secret, the Pride, whatever game you're playing, together enough to absolutely make these adventure hooks. Forbidden Lands does this wonderfully as well.
Okay. And then after you have the Vaesen, after you have the conflict, after you start the countdown, now you have to be able to explain the scene. Explain what the characters are seeing. And with this, you need atmosphere. This is going to depend on where in the Scandinavian lands you are. Are you in a swamp? Are you in a forest? Are you in a city? All of this is going to help you describe the scenes the characters are going to be in. Examples of atmosphere: hot and dry summer, a windy moor, herbs and large amounts of blue flowers in the area, of the, village, outside the village you're in. The sea, the Baltic Sea is, it's big. You can be anywhere. Remains of ancient artifacts, a Viking tomb, Norse runes, anger towards a new police chief, rebellion in the air. This is atmosphere. It could be a red herring, or it could be a guidepost to a discovery of a lore or a secret that you need to solve the mystery.
This is just for wasps. I'm out.
I don't know if they have wasps. It's kind of cool.
No, it says second last one: mosquitoes and wasps.
Oh yeah, that's bad. Okay.
Yeah, I'm out.
Clues. This is the trail of breadcrumbs that your players have to follow to solve the mystery. To solve a mystery, you need information. Clues are the information. Your players have to be able to discover information through clues to solve the mystery. If you don't let them, you built a bad adventure. They're never going to win. It has to be winnable. Now, when I do Call of Cthulhu adventures, I always have 3 ways to find the answer, and you don't need every character to do it. 2 characters working together can find the answer, because someone will probably die, because it's Call of Cthulhu. Probably someone's going to die or go insane and be useless. You can bring that over to Vaesen as well. Not everyone needs to be a bookworm, but you should have one. Not everyone needs to be a constable or a former constable, but you should have one. It gives you the ability to have different kinds of clues be relevant and useful to the player characters to solve the mystery. So what do we have so far? We have the Vaesen, which creates what kind of conflict you're looking for, which brings the player characters there. Then we have the countdown until failure, the events that happen during the time of the adventure. And if you don't solve the mystery by the last one, you lose. And then we have the clues and the atmosphere, and then the clues to lead the characters to the right answer. Well, what's next? Well, you have the countdown to catastrophe. That's what they call it. The very last countdown is a catastrophe because you lost. Probably someone died.
By the way, the art in this book is not something I'm really fond of. It's just not my style.
Minimalistic, but it's visceral.
But it's also absolutely appropriate for the game setting.
Yeah. And then we have advice for the game master. This is to help smooth gameplay.
No friends.
No friends, no escape routes. The player characters leave the city to venture into the unknown. Make sure that they are isolated and exposed. This is, again, an atmospheric thing. If they lived in the city their entire life to investigate this thing, they have to go to this old rundown or abandoned town in the middle of the forest somewhere. Then the forest is Scandinavian for, Black Death Forest. Okay, that's going to get weird, right? Yes, make sure they feel it. Helping the characters create these mental images will create a very, very interesting gameplay atmosphere, and it will get the players immersed in their characters' trials and tribulations, which means they're going to have more fun. So I think that is probably it. Oh, and it talks about ambiance and stuff like that. And here's a flowchart. This is a clue in place 1 leads to another clue in place 2, leads to another clue in place 3. And now you have all the clues you need to understand what you're dealing with. And then you go and confront it. Or it could be this chart. You could find these clues are found in a random order, but you need all 3 clues to properly go to the confrontation. It gives you
Don't be locked on that 3 number, but it is a good rule of thumb. Yeah. The 3 is just an example placeholder. At least 3 is good. Having just 1 clue and have a eureka moment is dumb. That's dumb. 3 is a pretty good place to start.
More, it starts getting tedious for the players. Less, it's too simplistic, and they're not having a good time because they didn't have to work for it. So this is a good rule of thumb. 3 different clues in 3 different locations help you get the actual solution and an understanding of the problem, which leads to a solution, and then the confrontation where the solution is implemented successfully or not. So that's how you create a mystery or an adventure in Vaesen as a game master. All of these things are necessary to bring everything together and get the players to have a good time. All right. What do we got for any chat?
Before I do that, so would you say that the adventures written in, say, like this book are written in that format?
Yes, they are. They're definitely written in that format. And one thing I didn't get into, this game, just like Call of Cthulhu, loves player handouts. Loves it. Now, the starter mystery in this book has handouts. That mystery that he's holding right now has handouts in the back of the book. You're supposed to photocopy them, cut them out, and give them to your players.
Oh God, that's right. Like half the book is handouts.
Yes, it's handouts because these are the clues. These are the clues the players need to solve the mystery, to get to the confrontation. Without it, they're lost. They will not have a solution.
Yep, that's a map. I don't want to show that one.
No, you don't want to show them. That's fine. But in all investigative games, you're going to have handouts of some kind.
Yeah.
Of some degree. You're going to have it.
So and I like handouts, actually. I'm the type of person that likes the handout, something that the players can hold on to and refer back to.
Exactly. Yes. You can. They flip it over, write notes on the back of the handout because it's pertinent to this clue. Great. Helps them solve the mystery, moves the story along, and they are invested and having a good time.
It's also tangible. One of the things that, I think online play lacks a lot is that, you don't have books and you don't have the people next to you and so forth. But all those things, whether it's holding the dice or holding that thing in front of you, immerses you in the game a little more.
Yes.
Kokushuko Papashengo says there's a beginning. This is using your words. There's a beginning, middle, and end, but no railroad. Because you talked about in the past how you do your adventures, or you got an obvious starting point, there's a middle point, and an end point. So he corrected you.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, but the clues are like breadcrumbs, moving the players along a specific path. They need to get in this case, all 3 clues, sometimes in the right order, like this one. Sometimes in any order, like these.
Sometimes get clue 1 and 2 to learn clue 3, and then.
Yeah, but they need to get all the breadcrumbs to take them to the proper destination. But if you do it in a way that's fun, that's immersive, that has a proper atmosphere, they're not going to realize they're being led to the answer. Or if they realize it, they won't care because it was fun.
And the only other comment that I started was, I gotta get that shirt. Well, link is in the description below. It's on our Redbubble page.
Yep. Players, the natural enemy of a good story.
Yep. That's the Heathen Dog shirt. So the players can overall still do whatever they want, but the end goal is agreed to be at least somewhat predetermined as long as the players succeed.
Yes. The end goal is predetermined, but their success is not. Like I said, there is the countdown to catastrophe. If they don't solve the mystery by the time you get to the last countdown, which is the catastrophe, they lose. So winning and losing is already written. You as the game master know what a win looks like. You as the game master know what losing looks like. They don't yet. They're going to find out one of them.
All right. That is it. That's all I have start. So
that's fine.
Okay. Any final comments that you have? Obviously, you didn't get into the game mechanics. That was intentional. But any final comments you have about Vaesen and I mean, is it the type of game that you think that you'd be interested in playing and running at some point?
Yeah. I mean, I got really good at creating Call of Cthulhu adventures on the fly. Just top of my head, because it's formulaic, just like Vaesen. It is formulaic. Once you have the formula down, You can just make it up as you go because you know what's supposed to come next. It's an investigative drama. You have to follow the chain of clues, and roadblocks will pop up every so often. Roadblocks will pop up. That's the countdowns. And if you don't solve the mystery by the end, you lose.
Okay.
It's very formulaic. It's very easy once you know the formula by heart. It's very easy to just make it all up.
I don't know how deeply you read it. Would you say that the adventures in this book are all one shots, like 4-hour session type things, or do they go deeper than that?
No. The modules are made to be between 3 and 6 sessions.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
That's even better.
I think it actually says it in the beginning of the module book. It's meant to be 3 to 6 sessions or 3 to 4 sessions, so many hours a session. That's their estimate.
Okay, that's cool because I mean I don't like treating it as like a a supernatural episode where it's done in an hour.
I get it.
You know,
I get it.
So that's cool. I like that.